The Loch Ness monster of our parks, the Elasmosaurus, is an animal with somewhat Marmite appearance. You either like it or you hate it. But what are some of the real world interesting details about this animal? Welcome back to Number 1. A military discovery. Elasmosaurus's discovery can be attributed to two military officers of the American Army, Surgeon Theophilus Turner and Scout William Cornstalk. In 1867, while exploring the territory around Fort Wallace, Kansas, they came across the first bones of an animal which Turner recognized as an extinct monster. Little did they know at the time, but not only had they discovered one of the largest prehistoric sea creatures known to exist, but also the only Elasmosaurus skeleton that has ever been discovered. Number 2. What's in the name? Having discovered the Elasmosaurus bones, the military men turned to legendary American paleontologist Edward Drinker Cope. He was the one who named the animal, and picked both names. Elasmosaurus itself, meaning thin plate reptile, in reference to the thin bone sections of its pelvis, while its species name, Platyurus, means flat tail, which he made in reference to the flat bones of the animal's tail vertebrae. Unfortunately for Cope, it wasn't the tail he was looking at. Number 3. It started the Bone Wars. Having dug more of the skeleton up, Cope scientifically described the animal in 1869 and created a manuscript that contained his reconstruction. However, and much to his embarrassment, his reconstruction put the head of the animal on its tail, and it was based on a drawing he made several years before. Desperately, he reprinted the manuscript and tried to destroy all the incorrect versions, putting the head on the right end. However, somehow, and it's unclear how, a copy of this embarrassing mistake managed to find its way into the hands of another American paleontologist, Othniel Charles Marsh. Marsh made constant jokes about the mistake for decades after, and it is largely believed that this was the beginning of the legendary rivalry between the two men, a period most known as the Bone Wars, where both men fought to discover and name the most new species. Perhaps I'll do a special episode looking at the Bone Wars in the future. Let me know if you'd be interested. Number 4. A record-breaking neck. One of the most distinct elements of the Elasmosaurus is its hugely long neck. In fact, it possesses the second highest number of neck vertebrae of any known animal, totaling 72 individual bones. To compare that, we have around 33, giraffe have around 7, and horses have 54. Elasmosaurus is second only to another plesiosaur, Albertonectes, who possessed 76 bones. Interestingly, however, there were many sauropods who have longer necks than the Elasmosaurus, but they have bigger vertebrae individually. Number 5. Not snake-necked. After its initial discovery, Elasmosaurus and other long-necked plesiosaur were often depicted with curvy snake-like necks. Many older images show them curling it around. This image was something that continued for a long time. However, more recent science has changed that image. One study in the last 20 years discovered that the necks of these animals were only capable of a limited range of movement, with degrees of motion ventrally of around 75 to 177 degrees, dorsally between 87 to 155 degrees, and around side to side between 94 and 176 degrees of movement. The neck was surprisingly rigid. Experts believe that this directly affected its hunting and feeding methods. Some suggest that it would have fed in a style called benthic grazing. Here, the animal would have swum close to the sea floor and used its head and neck to dig and sift through the sand to find prey. It may have also allowed more aggressive hunting techniques, using its neck to sweep side to side through fish much like a saw shark. However, one thing is clear. These animals were serious predators. Analysis of stomach contents has discovered the remains of sharks, fish, cephalopods, and even mosasaurs. Halfway through, have you learnt anything new? Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe if you're new to the channel for more content from all of us at Triclaw Gaming. Number 6. Hell's Aquarium. Elasmosaurus lived in the western interior seaway, a vast but shallow sea that covered much of North America, splitting the continent in two. This shallow sea was only around 800 to 900 meters deep. It was home to a huge number of animals. This included other types of plesiosaur like the Styxosaurus, along with mosasaurs like Halosaurus and Tylosaurus. Then there was the giant sea turtles like Archelon and Protostega, birds like Hesperionis, pterosaurs like Pteranodon and Nyctosaurus, and of course a huge number of other fish and reptiles, including the infamous Xiphactinus. The sea was a hive of marine activity, and must have presented the Elasmosaurus with a great range of possible prey. Number 7. Not a fast swimmer. In 2015, a study was done on just how these flippered animals would have swam. Their study theorized that locomotion was mostly performed with the forward flippers, while the hind flippers were used primarily for stability and turning. In 2017, a robot was designed to test different swimming styles of plesiosaur. The study determined that if the hind flippers were used with the forward flippers in one motion, the animal would gain about 60% more thrust and 40% more efficiency. This is due to the effects of the vortexes leaving the forward flippers, aiding the lift of the rear flippers. This is similar to the reason why birds fly in V formation. However, these flippers were still very rigid and worked much like oars rather than wings, which would have limited the speed the animal could attain, likely making them slow but probably faster than the largest mosasaurs. Number 8. Very rare. Initially, it was believed that there were many species of Elasmosaurus, with Cope even believing the material he had discovered showed 2 species. However, as the decades have gone on, many of these possible animals have either been declared as dubious or become other genuses of animals. In fact, Styxosaurus itself was once an Elasmosaurus species until it was reinvestigated. This means that currently Elasmosaurus platyurus is the only species known, and known by a single skeleton alone. As a result, much of its life and details are shrouded in the mystery of time. Number 9. Rocks might have been on the menu. There is some evidence that plesiosaurs like Elasmosaurus may have eaten rocks. Known as gastroliths, these stones have been discovered in other similar animals, and a single gastrolith might have been discovered lodged in the Elasmosaurus's bones itself. The exact purpose of the gastroliths in plesiosaurs is somewhat debated. Some believe that the purpose of the stones was to help grind up and mush up food, enabling enzymes to work more quickly on it and aid digestion. Some people believe that stones may have provided the animals with mineral nutrients that they were lacking, similar to how some animals eat salt as an aid to nutrition. Another theory that has gone under constant research is that plesiosaurs ate stones to aid as ballast to counter the air in their lungs and aid in swimming. While research showed that an impractical amount of stones would be required, the research is difficult without knowing the exact tissue makeup of the animals. There are even some plausible theories that the stones were either eaten because they were confused for prey, or that they might have been swallowed by accident during some sort of play sessions. Number 10. Not top of the food chain. While the Elasmosaurus itself did not show signs of predation, other similar animals certainly have. In Australia, a possible elasmosaurid Woolungosaurus, whose estimated length was not too much shorter than Elasmosaurus, was discovered with a seriously crushed and distorted skull. It was lately discovered the skull showed signs of puncture wounds from Kronosaurus teeth, Australia's top aquatic plesiosaur. While we can't know for sure if Elasmosaurus was on the menu for animals like Mosasaurus and Tylosaurus, it is at least possible. So there we go, 10 things you might not have known about Elasmosaurus. This wonderful animal is one that has very little specific research about it, mostly due to a lack of finds, which did make this list pretty difficult. In Jurassic World Evolution 2, I think Elasmosaurus has some beautiful skins, and while its dragon-like look is somewhat controversial, I still think it's a beautiful animal. Let me know in the comments what you think about Elasmosaurus, and while you're there, remember to like the video and subscribe for more from all of us at Triclaw Gaming. Until next time, stay safe and goodbye.